Well, first to start this tutorial or kind of intro to like how to draw a head, I would like to put certain things in a perspective and clear. And before drawing the head, I would like to tell you that you should keep in mind certain things like a head is apart from probably all the proportions that you have to learn and all the things that you have to get familiar with. One of the things that I found that will make you progress fast is to be conscious that uh, what we draw is flat and there's no deepness in when we draw. So we are the ones who have to create this deepness and this sense of mass. And I'll start with that with a circle. With it's a flat right now. It's a flat circle, but I want it to become the sphere. And for that, well, you you'll say, well, you can divide these and divide these somehow. But even if you divide it like this, it's still flat, you know. And like this is flat. So in your brain, you have to have a sense of three dimensionality and form. So it's like doing this kind of wire around the sphere, and that will give is like three dimensionality. We start dividing things, dividing sections of this, but keeping in mind that these lines goes around and behind the circle. You don't see it, but you have to be aware of that three dimensionality. Same with this. Um, Let me change the color for red so you can see better like my what I'm trying to say. It's like if you do this line and then you have to go back. Even when you don't see the other side, you have to be in your brain. You have to figure it out. Well, it feels that there is something behind that line. So if you have to feel the roundness of the roundness that goes around the surface, the three dimensionality of this. Because as soon as you start like feeling that deepness and you can visualize how things are looked from behind. You have to go, as they say, through the form, and you have to go through the form. For example, this is a good exercise that I did when I was like learning. Is that let's say you have a flat shape like this, and let's say you have a flat shape like this, and these shapes are really flat. They don't have any three dimensionality. But when we start dividing these in sections, like a middle section and a and we have a middle section, and we find the both middle section like horizontal, vertical and horizontal, then we can add this more three dimensionality. But for that, you have to really think about how can you represent this shape in and give it volume. So if I start with the line and I go around and I start feeling this surface, then and dividing it, this is half, and then this is the other half. So if it has a sense, if you start dividing, but following the form and feeling the shape, then you can start dividing. For example, in the middle of this one, then you can go around. It should go this way, but you don't see that, you know. And then you can divide and give more three dimensionality to whatever you are doing, you know. It's like seeing a 3D object with a wire, you know. Then if you have this sense of mass, then you will be able to, well, first create that sense of deepness and form, but also you will have a better idea where to do the shading of your objects. So this is a good exercise that if you want to if you have troubles trying to make things more that it feels with more mass, then I would encourage you to do this exercise of drawing these shapes or any shape, get any random shape, and then start dividing and start thinking about those things. Like there's many ways you can go this way or you can go this way. But think about the shape in your brain and then see like, well, I divide these here and then I go from the middle section here. And I go around the shape. It doesn't look like that, but I'm feeling that three-dimensionality of the object or the shape. So regardless the shape that you could have, it doesn't matter. You can really divide this thing and think about, well, what is the shape of this and how it's dividing itself to make something more three-dimensional. Like even here I can go and divide this. But this is a little bit too thin here. But what I'm saying is that if you have this sense of three-dimensionality, then drawing the head will be much easier, because the problem that I found when I was starting drawing the face and the head and all that is that it's very flat, and which is okay, because for that you have to learn, you have to have in mind that's a good way to start learning the proportions of the face, and calculate different relationships with the face, and taking that into account. Well, this will be a good exercise for you to do that, and try to do that. Try to find the three-dimensionality in surface, even if you want to do you can do out of your imagination, or you can um, see an object in reality and see something that is like rounded or a, or an organic shape, and then try to break it down. So that will be one of the things that I like to for you to keep in mind when you approach drawing the head, because the face and the head has a lot of planes and forms that you have to keep that in mind. Okay, another thing that I want to tell before we start doing the head is that we have to keep in mind that the head and all that relies on the structure of the skull and the jaw, and we have to remind ourselves or keep in mind that the whole head is composed of two bony parts, of two bones, the skull and the jaw. And what is the point of this is that it helps you to realize that it's a separate form, and it can move separately from the skull. We can move our jaw in different ways, and we open the mouth and all that. So if you have a sense of what's going on under the skin and the muscle, then we can have a better function and better understanding of the movement and the placement of the features. Okay, and since I have these like that, then another thing, if you think this into separate bone sections, is that the jaw can give you character, can give you a lot of character if you start moving like front to the front. Then we have a jaw like protruding there, and that could be a character, an angry character, and you change the personality already, or you can have it like going back a little bit, and you start talking about like this, and it changed because everybody is different. Everybody has that jaw that goes in or out, and also you can have a big jaw, and that big jaw will give you another character, more like a buff, muscular kind of guy, more serious, and You see, only by playing with these two elements, only you already can see how you can give more character to your drawings, and that's the point for my tutorials, is to give you a little bit more thinking out of the proportion things that can get really complicated. So yeah, that's my point here on the skull. I say practice the skull and try to figure out proportions and draw the skull. It will give you a lot of hints of where to place lines and how to read different forms and how to make it more appealing with form, and you will have a better and successful drawing. Yeah.